Welcome back to the Goodol'boys channel. So this is my 2015 Chevy Silverado. I got some long tube headers. They're Chinese headers. I bought them off of eBay, and we're gonna put them on this thing and just see what happens. We're gonna be doing a build over probably a couple videos, so stay tuned. So I got the headers. I don't have a tuner or anything, so we're gonna be putting a tuner on later on, but for now we're just going to be running it without the tuner. There's ways you can get the check engine light to go off, so I'll be showing you guys all that stuff in the upcoming videos. None of this stuff is real news to the automotive community. It's all stuff that's already kind of been done, but nonetheless we're still going to try it out on this truck and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to do a quick unboxing here. I got some headers that eBay headers, I guess, made in China. Obviously I have a Hawk 250, which is a Chinese enduro bike. I like that so much that I ended up just getting some Chinese headers. I was gonna buy some Cook's headers. Some guy on Facebook had a set of Cook's headers for $600 with the Y pipes. He wanted like $1,100. And the thing was, is I bought this for $240 or something for headers and Y pipes. Obviously, yes, they're made in China, but they're stainless steel. So let's see what's in the box here. So long tube headers. Oh, it's got the thing there for the O2 sensors. The one and only thing I did not like on these stainless steel headers was the collector here. You can see the harsh angle which the pipes kind of exit into the collector. They did have painted versions of these. Of course those will rust because they're just painted mild steel, but they did have a better collector style on them, so I almost went with those, but since I live in Ohio with all the rust and everything, I ended up going with the stainless steel, and hopefully this doesn't mess with the sound or anything too much, because pretty much going to have this thing straight pipe. We have a Y pipe piece, so you can see the difference here. Again, these connect to the catback exhaust. You get two of them for two different size catback exhausts. Okay, we have a long tube header for the other side. Got some exhaust clamps, which I'm not going to be using these. I'm not a fan of these because once these are clamped on there, you can no longer get the exhaust apart. So those I'll be selling or throwing in the garbage or something. Got a couple more pieces here. And these are the Y pipe pieces, if you guys can't tell. I think they go something like this. You put the Y pipe together like that. And then on the end you just choose whichever one of these fits your catback better. They were also kind enough to add exhaust gaskets and some hardware, which I'm not actually going to be using this hardware. That's something that I'm either going to reuse the factory hardware or I don't know, get some new hardware. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and install these headers on this truck. So first of all, you're going to want to remove this plastic piece right here. Mine's already removed because the tire scrubs with it on there, so it's been off for a while. So you need a Torx 15 bit for most of all of these screw heads. There's a whole bunch all around the fender well. So you guys can see we clearly have a whole lot more room, even on the driver's side that's more busy. There's still a bunch more room without that liner in there. So the next steps we're going to take are getting the manifold and Y pipe and oxygen sensors off. So I'm gonna kind of explain real quick before we get into this. All right, so now we're gonna take this thing on a quick drive. We're gonna get everything warmed up so everything comes apart nice and easy. The point of the drive, again, is to get everything to come off nice and easy. As we all know, when you heat bolts up, they come out a whole lot easier. So you want to take the bolts out as soon as you get back from the drive. So what you want to do is go ahead and have your tools all set up here, ready to go. For the manifold bolts themselves, 13 millimeters. For the Y-pipe bolts, 15 millimeter deep well socket. For the oxygen sensor, 22 millimeter. And for the catback exhaust clamp, it's going to be a 13 millimeter. You can also see I have a couple extensions. That's for getting the Y-pipe bolts off right here. You're going to need an extension to go all the way from the Y-pipe bolt under the truck. All right, so before we go on this drive, I wanted to show you guys my exhaust setup right now. Obviously, you guys can see I've got the stock manifolds. We have the stock Y-pipe with a third cat delete, and it's there, but it's not there, if you know what I mean. The front two cats still have the cats in them. And then I've got a completely straight piped catback exhaust. So we're back from the drive, got a couple things here. So these manifold bolts right here, these are actually going to be a half. You want to use a 5-point socket. The half fit better than the 13 that I had. These guys right here, the O2 sensors, those actually came out not too bad. And then the downpipe bolts. So this is the 15 millimeter, and it's very hard to get off of there, and I haven't even got any of them broke loose. They're too stiff. So what I'm gonna have to do is take the yellow torch here and put some heat on those bolts before I break those loose. Another thing, to remove one of the manifold bolts on this side, you actually have to remove the oil dipstick. It has a Torx 25. It has a Torx 25 bit, or a Torx 25 hardware screw, whatever you want to call it, that holds it right there to the head. You can see, to get the oil dipstick out, you just kind of got to twist it a little bit, pull on it. There we go. Okay, so on the passenger and the driver side, the very last bolt on the manifold here, what you're going to want to do is actually bend this piece of metal forward away from the bolt so you can get to that easier. And also on the driver's side, so we're under the truck on the driver's side, and you can see the last bolt on the manifold. And when you go to take your manifolds off, you're going to notice this bolt is in a really hard spot. So what I did here was, you can see I took the O2 sensor out. That's the top O2 sensor. And then you have a lot better access to the bolt up here, just with a ratchet. And I'm just taking my ratchet and going up and through here. Alrighty guys, so that's gonna wrap up part one of the header install on the 2015 Chevy Silverado. So I know you guys are going to be looking for part 2, 3, 4, however many parts we have. I'm not really exactly sure yet. There's going to be 2 places you can find them. They're going to be linked in the description box below, and also under my Silverado playlist on my YouTube channel. I had a few things I wanted to say here at the end. First of all, I got my 99-cent Wings glasses on here. These things are great. It sure beats a $160 pair of Oakleys, that's for sure. But got a street biker coming by. All right. So anyways, like I said, a couple things I wanted to talk about. So I've helped my buddy put headers on his 2017 Mustang, and that thing was an absolute nightmare. Yes, it is a Ford, and typically that's how it is. The bolts for the starters on the Fords are just terrible, especially there's 3 bolts. There's one on top of the starter. If you guys have ever taken them apart, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This thing's super easy. The starter bolts you can get them from the bottom. There's only 2 of them. Makes it a whole lot easier. A lot of things like that. And yes, I do realize this is a truck versus a car, but still, even on the trucks, I had an old F-250, same thing with the starter. I mean, it takes you an hour to get the starter put in that thing. That might be exaggerating a little bit, but that's what it seems like, because it is a royal pain in the butt. Whereas on this thing, a Chevy, we don't have any of those issues. It's a whole lot easier to work on. That was mostly what I wanted to say. I just wanted to bash forward for a minute here. But again, that's it for this video. This is part 1. Part 2 is going to be coming soon. Almost 100% positive, unless something goes really wrong. So again, stay tuned. Woo!
It's all about humanity.